I was standing in my driveway, holding a garden hose, t-shirt stained with what could have passed for the aftermath of a Hershey's Armageddon, when the second police cruiser rolled up. If you've never had your mailbox blocked by a cop car, let me just say, it doesn't exactly inspire neighborly confidence. The blue and red lights were flickering over my house like some kind of low-budget disco, but all I felt was a cold stone sinking in my gut. Let me set the scene. My neighbor Brenda, that Brenda was posted up in her living room window. I couldn't see her, but I could see the outline of her perm and the glint off what I'm pretty sure were binoculars. You ever felt someone smiling at your misfortune from 2 houses away? Trust me, you know it when you feel it. It's got this ice-hot, smug energy that can cut right through a July afternoon. And then there's my son, Leo, who just stopped digging in the dirt. Face streaked with mud, little plastic shovel clutched like he might need to defend himself at any second. He looks at me and says, "Dad, did we do something bad?" In that voice kids use when they're not sure if they're in trouble or if you're about to laugh. Meanwhile, Sophia, me 5-year-old, just right there in her element, planted in the middle of a puddle she named Lake Sophie, happily smushing together meatballs made of mud. And I look at them, and man, they just look like what kids are supposed to look like before the iPad took over as the designated babysitter for half the country. "Nobody did anything," I said, letting the hose drop. It slapped against the wet concrete, hissing, "Just stay right there, buddy." 2 officers got out of the first car. Out of the second stepped this woman in a beige pantsuit, clipboard, lanyard, and the kind of pinched look that says she's seen way too much darkness to appreciate sunshine anymore. Child Protective Services. There's a special kind of terror that grips you when CPS shows up at your house and your kids are covered head to toe in mud. Look, I deal with building inspectors, cranky electricians, clients who think load-bearing is just a suggestion, but this hits a different part of your brain, the lizard part. "Mr. Miller?" The officer asked big guy. Looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. "Officer Davis." I recognized him. Small town, you see the same faces. "Yeah, that's me," I said, wiping my hands on my shorts, which just smeared more mud. "Everything all right, officer? Something happened around here." Clipboard lady steps up. "No hands check." "Mr. Miller, I'm caseworker Jenkins with Child and Family Services. We received a report regarding the welfare of 2 minors at this address." That's when the blood drains out of your face and your brain goes, "No way, this can't be happening." The kids are standing right there. You can see they're fine. But logic doesn't help much in moments like this. She's reading from the paper like she's ordering a sandwich. Alleges the children are living in squalor, unsupervised, suffering from malnutrition, observed consuming fecal matter. "Excuse me? Consuming what?" "Poop," Officer Davis clarified, looking as uncomfortable as I felt. "And that the home is hazardous and unsanitary." You know that feeling when you're absolutely certain of something, like you double-check the oven, you know you lock the door in, then someone tells you, "Are you sure?" Suddenly, you're not so sure anymore. I glance at Brenda's window, a blinds flicker. "Let me guess," I say. Try not to explode. "The report came from 402 Maple." "Reports are anonymous, sir," Jenkins snaps. "I need to see the children and inspect the residence immediately. If you refuse, we'll return with a court order and remove the children for their safety." "Remove them." That's when I step forward, instinct, I guess, and Officer Davis moves his hand near his belt. Not the gun, just close. A warning. Jenkins is already walking past me, heels clicking, straight for my kids. If you want to know how we ended up here, with CPS about to remove my kids because of Saturday Project, you got to know my neighborhood. Half is young families like mine, people who buy fixer-uppers and don't mind a little noise. The other half, retirees who treat their lawns like sacred ground. And then there's Brenda. If Mother Nature had a customer service manager, it'd be Brenda. She once called the cops on a mailman for stepping on her lawn. I've seen her vacuum her driveway, no joke. She measures her grass with a ruler. That morning, it was just me and the kid Sarah. My wife was napping. Night shift nurse. Saturday is her only chance to get some sleep. I wanted the kids to build something. I bought topsoil clean, bagged organic stuff, not manure. We made a mud pile under the old oak tree. We were building rivers, dams, a castle, laughing up to our knees in it. Then Brenda appears over the fence, face all pinched, and judge why. "Michael," she says, never Mike. "Hey, Brenda, beautiful day, huh?" Mud on my cheek, shovel in hand. "It smells," she says, looking like she's sniffing something rotten. It's wet dirt, Brenda. Because it's wet dirt. I try not to laugh. She gives me the lecture. Unsanitary. Eyesore. She's got bridge club tonight. Doesn't want her guests to see a pigsty. Well, good news, Brenda, they don't have to look, I say, shoveling. Or there's the other 90% of the yard, which is just fine. Kids are just playing. You're lowering property values. That little girl is filthy. It's neglectful. Michael letting them wallow in filth like animals. And that was the line for me. You want to trash my lawn? Go ahead. But call me a bad dad. And you've crossed into something else. Brenda, they're playing. It washes off. This is what kids do. I pick up my shovel, ready to move on. She doesn't leave. She stands there, scanning, like she's looking for ammunition. I won't have a shanty town next to my property, she mutters. It's a mud castle, Brenda. Relax. We'll see, she says, and stomps away. I figured she'd call the HOA. Maybe a nasty letter, but not this. Back to reality. Jenkins is over Sophie, who's crying now because of the stranger looming over her. Honey, what's that on your face? Jenkins asks. It's meatballs. Sophie sobs. Jenkins recoils, horrified. Meatballs. She looks at me like I'm raising a feral child. It's mud. She's pretending Jesus. Haven't you ever been a kid? Sir, keep your voice down, Davis warns. Leo, now shaking, runs and hugs my leg. I try to calm him, but Jenkins says, I need to document their condition before they're cleaned. She's taking pictures of my crying daughter, her hands, the pile of mud, a bucket of water. This water appears stagnant, she notes. I just filled it with the hose 10 minutes ago, I say, voice cracking. We'll need to test the soil. Jenkins ignores me. I need to see the interior, the pantry, the bedrooms. Need to verify there's food, sanitary sleeping conditions. You can't just walk into my house, I try. I can, she says, cold as ice. Exigent circumstances. Probable cause. You can let me in or wait here for a warrant. Your choice. I look at Davis's look, says, just get this over with, man. So I let them in. Sarah comes stumbling downstairs in a robe, still half asleep. 30 minutes of the worst humiliation of my life. Jenkins opens the fridge, checks the milk, counts the cans in the cupboard, pokes around the kids' beds, even checks the toilet for what. I'm not sure. Finds nothing, of course. When she's done, the kids are in the shower, wailing. Sarah's nearly in tears. Jenkins sits at our table filling out paperwork. The home is adequate, she says. Adequate, I snap. It's a good home. We're good parents. She doesn't look up. The report was specific about ingestion of waste. The state of the children was concerning. I'm not removing them today, she says, and I finally breathe, but I'm keeping the case open. Substantiated concern regarding supervision and hygiene. There'll be a follow-up in 2 weeks. If I get another call, the outcome will be different. You ever have to explain to your wife why CPS has a file open on you? Why your son thinks the police might come take him away because he played in the mud? Across the street, Brenda is watching with a glass of wine. She lifts it, a mock toast. Something inside me snaps. Not loud, not rage, just a cold, solid feeling like a bolt sliding into place. I'm a peaceful guy. I coach Little League. I help old ladies. I pay my taxes. But staring at Brenda sipping Chardonnay, knowing she called the cops just to traumatize my kids, yeah, that changed something. They're not coming back, I tell Sarah, and Brenda isn't going to get away with this. Sarah's scared. Don't do anything stupid, Mike. She'll just call again. I know. I say. I'm counting on it. That Monday, I called Tony. Tony's the local excavation guy. Beard like a badger's nest. He hates HOAs as much as I do. Tony, I need a retaining wall, big, legal, but slow and loud. Bring the boys. The loud ones. Next morning at 7 a.m. sharp, the rumble of Tony's diesel excavator shook the street. Brenda stormed out in her robe, hair all crazy. What is this? She screeched. Morning, Brenda. Just doing some home improvements. Since you're so concerned about the yard, figured I'd step it up retaining wall, high value. It's 7 a.m. Noise ordinance says 7's legal. I check my watch. It's 7:02. She starts coughing. The fumes. This is harassment. It's progress, Brenda. She calls the police. Officer Davis again, looking like he'd rather crawl back in bed. I hand him the permits, the ordinance, the HOA letter. He glances at Tony, at the papers, then over at Brenda's house. Look, Mike, we know she's a pain, but keep it civil. I'm just improving my property, Officer. He walks over to Brenda's door. I watch on my security camera as she demands he arrest me. He tells her to stop calling 911 for non-emergencies, that it's a penal code violation. She hisses, he let his kids play in filth to mock me. Davis says, on Saturday you said it was feces. Today it's just dirt. Which is it? She stammers, backs down. Not the smoking gun I want, but close. 3 days of loud, slow construction. Every afternoon, diesel fumes and dirt piles right up against the fence. But the real play is on Thursday. I buy 20 cans of brown Play-Doh. I set up Leo and Sophie at the patio table in full view of Brenda's window just out of earshot, but right in range for my microphones. We make sculptures. I grab a chunk, fake a big bite. Leo and Sophie are giggling, pretending to eat it too. I see Brenda's curtains twitch. She's on the phone to me. Mike picks up every word. Linda, he's doing it again. They're eating something brown. No, I don't think it's real poop, but it looks gross. I'm calling CPS again. If I keep calling, they'll have to take the kids, or at least he'll get scared and move. I just want him gone. I don't care if the kids are safe. I told the cops they were eating poop last time, and they bought it. If I say it's animal waste again, it'll get another raid. My heart is pounding. There it is. The confession. She doesn't care if the kids are safe. She just wants us gone. She admits the last call was a lie. I saved the recording backups everywhere. When the sirens arrive this time, I'm not scared. Jenkins and Davis storm up the driveway. Let me guess, I say, still sitting on the patio. Brenda said we were eating poop again. Jenkins looks like she's about to explode. The report stated you were force-feeding animal waste. I hold up the can. Play-Doh, Miss Jenkins. Non toxic. Want some? She stares, then starts to say something, but I interrupt. Before you search my house again, I have something you need to hear. I play Brenda's call her own words. I told the cops they were eating poop. It worked the first time. I don't care if the kids are safe. I just want him gone. Jenkins goes pale. Davis goes stone-faced. Brenda is watching from her porch, waiting for a show. That's a crime, Jenkins whispers. Yes, it is, I say. Twice. And she admitted it was a lie, just to get a CPS raid. Officer Davis glances at Jenkins. That's false reporting, misuse of 911, and harassment. Miss Jenkins, I think you can close your file now. You'll get a letter clearing you, Jenkins says. We don't take kindly to being pawns in neighborhood feuds. Davis heads across the street. Brenda tries to play the victim. He ignores her. When she throws her citation back at him, he cuffs her obstruction. They put her in the cruiser. She looks out at me. I lift my Play-Doh can in a little salute. But you know what? I wasn't done. This wasn't just about clearing my name. This was about consequences. I call the nastiest lawyer I know, Robert. He listens to the tape. Mike, you know what this is worth in damages? Especially with malice and a confession. We're taking everything. We file $4,750,000 damages, punitive, emotional distress, the whole kitchen sink. Brenda gets served private server, dressed like a pizza guy. She opens the door, gets handed the complaint and a pepperoni pie. When she realizes what it is, she drops the pizza face down on her welcome mat. Court moves slow. Brenda's lawyer tries to get it tossed. No luck. At her deposition, under oath, she cracks, admits she lied, admits she just wanted us gone, even admits she figured CPS wouldn't actually take the kids because, quote, they're white. The court reporter nearly chokes on her gum. Trial comes. Jury's all parents and blue collars. They hear my kids were traumatized, hear Brenda say she just wanted us gone. The verdict? Guilty. $750,000. Her insurance denies the claim intentional act. She loses her house, her retirement. For sale sign goes up. Sunniest day of the year. On moving day, she glares at me, says, I hope you're happy. You took everything. I say, you gave it to me. You bet your house on a lie and you lost. A month later, a young couple moves in. Baby on the way. The first thing the guy does, comes over, asks if I know a contractor to help build a deck. I hand him a beer, point at Tony. You came to the right place. Just don't touch the retaining wallet's a monument. To what? He asks. To the time I turned a mud pie into a retirement fund. Leo and Sophie are out back, laughing, filthy, building a new castle. Go ahead, guys, get messy. I yell, and they do. But tell me, if you were in my shoes, what would you have done? Is there a line where fighting back becomes going too far? Where's the line between standing up for your family and seeking revenge? I'd love to hear your take. Ever tangled with a neighbor like Brenda? Or gotten a taste of small-town justice? Share your story. I'll be right here, cheering you on.
Cảm ơn tất cả các bạn đã xem video.